Welcome everybody. Attention turns to the bottom half of the J1 League table today as our live action comes from Sapporo. Hokkaido Consadole Sapporo prop up the rest with the season now beyond its midway point. 6 points short of safety after 6 straight league defeats. Can they stop the slide against Albirex Niigata, who head north unbeaten in 7 games in all competitions now? Although the last 5 of those have ended in draws. They sit 11 points better off than their opponents, twice the total of Consa after 20 matches, but still only a couple of places above the relegation zone. Well, it's a trip of around 650 kilometres north from Niigata for Albirex, but it's tended to be a productive one. They're unbeaten in all 6 visits here since a 2-0 defeat in J2 back in 2003. Indeed, Albirex haven't lost any of the 12 meetings with Consa home or away since then, and remain unbeaten against them in the top flight. That is a run that stretches to 9 matches now and includes 6 victories. A 0-0 on their last visit here last season, almost a year ago. Meeting for the 2nd time in 2024 after a 1-1 draw at the Big Swan in the middle of April. With every week that goes by, the concerns grow for Consadole Sapporo, competing in the top flight for a club record 8 successive season. But if that is to be extended further, they will need a huge upturn in fortunes over the second half of the campaign. Just 11 points from the first 20 games taken for the side that have scored the fewest goals in J1 this year and conceded the most. Opponents Albirex Niigata hope to remain removed from the relegation equation themselves. Currently just 2 places but 6 points above the bottom 3. They've won only 2 of their last 11 league matches but drawn the last 3 of them. Turning 1 point into 3 has been the issue for Rikuzo Matsuhashi's side in their 2nd season back in the big time. The 2022 J2 champions finished 10th last term and would seemingly settle for another year in mid-table, although there is still work to do to achieve that aim. The stage almost set in Sapporo. Consa President Mikami Masakatsu says everyone has to pull in the same direction if Consadole are to stay up this season. He's confirmed in an open letter to fans and sponsors that Misha Petrovic will stay, that his job is safe this season, and also hinted that despite financial limitations they will try and strengthen the squad when the transfer window opens next month. Who have said the best way to get out of this situation is to stick with their style of play under this manager. They now need to back that up on the pitch and start picking up the points required. The Consadole side shows 3 changes to that beaten 1-0 at FC Tokyo on Wednesday night. Daihatsu Okamura is suspended after picking up his 4th yellow card of the campaign in the capital, so Rei Ezumi comes in at centre-back, but Yuki Kobayashi is back from a 1-match ban of his own and replaces Katsuyuki Tanaka, whilst there's also a change up top where Shingo Omori is handed only his 2nd ever J-League start, preferred to Musashi Suzuki, Gamba Osaka loanee who drops to the bench. He's joined there by new signing Leo Osaki, who arrived on a free from Emirates Club in the UAE and hopes for a debut. But the likes of Arano, Asano, Miyazawa, Aoki, Kim Gun-hee and Superchok are all still missing, with the lengthy injury list showing few signs of easing. Suyo Ueda has been a J1 League referee for a decade now. He takes charge of his 7th top-flight game of this season, having shown 3 red cards in his first 6. Hayato Shimizu heads up the VAR team, providing the backup in the booth. There's also 3 changes from midweek for Albirex Niigata from their 1-1 draw at Sanfrecce Hiroshima. 2 of those are in the back 4, where Michael Fitzgerald and Yuta Horigome return, the latter at left-back to face his former club in his home city of Sapporo. Thomas Deng and Fumiya Hayakawa dropped to the bench as a result, as does Motoki Hasegawa, as Jin Okamura makes an immediate return to the starting lineup in his rookie season out of university. They too have some notable absentees. Koshi Suzuki, injured in midweek, joins a list that also includes Shizuki Ota and Eiji Miyamoto. Well, big pressure on Misha Petrovic, although he has publicly been backed by his board, with Consa insisting that the coach will stay in situ for the rest of the season. Kazu Matsuhashi, in his third year in the job with Albirex Niigata, won promotion in his first and achieved a top 10 finish in J1 last year. So we're set for the start in Sapporo. Consadole under pressure at kick-off, desperately needing to end their losing run before they get cut adrift at the bottom. The situation is still salvageable, but improvements much needed against an Albirex Niigata side sitting more comfortably, but far from safe themselves. They're in their change colours, Albirex in the white, off on the front foot inside the opening 30 seconds here. It's Consadole that really need to try and make that statement from the start, as they look to make up ground on their relegation rivals. Been pretty comfortable in mid-table in recent seasons under Misha Petrovic. Anything but so far this time around. Just 2 wins all season in J1 for Consadole. Both of those here at home. The only side actually yet to win on their travels. Might engineer a early sight of goal here with Kobayashi. We'll get it back and dink it in. It needed to be a little more precise. Will be a free kick awarded by Masuya Ueda. So by Sayat Baba, he's playing this more defensive midfield role now, having moved out of the back three where he was stationed previously. Petrovic sticking with the same system with the 3 centre-backs, but believes he can get more out of Baba in that slightly more advanced role. Akiyama up the other end. First attack of note really for Albirex Niigata, but it's gathered up by Sugano. 40 years of age now, Takanori Sugano in the Consadole goal. 37 goals conceded across his 18 appearances so far this season in this division, just the 3 clean sheets. The scorers and the side that have conceded the most, hence their position adrift at the bottom, although they are not as far adrift as they might otherwise have expected to be. 4 points behind 19th place Kyoto Sanga. 5 adrift of Shonan Bellmare, 6 behind Sagan Tosu and Safety. They are 11 points, but just 4 places behind today's opponents. Suga with the touch and then forward by Nakamura in the direction of Omori. Starting for only the 2nd time in the J-League up top. That change maybe had been coming with Musashi Suzuki struggling for form without a league goal all season on loan from Gamba Osaka. The return hasn't quite worked out as intended so far, but Consa keeping the pressure on high here, doing well to win it with Tanaka. He's the one that will deliver towards Omori. Claim the corner. Omori doesn't have particularly fond memories, I wouldn't have thought, of this fixture, having come on as a substitute in Niigata in the 1-1 draw between the clubs in April, and was shortly afterwards sent off in that game. With just 5 appearances that he has made in the league this season, of those coming off the bench prior to tonight. So with the early call, taken short. Stay forward in the penalty area there, but it should be the goalkeeper's ball, and it's claimed by Koto Abe, getting his chance in goal, making his first start of the season in midweek, having begun the first 19 games of the campaign on the bench. His opportunity against Sanfrecce in the absence of Kojima keeps his place today. Out by Inamura. Akiyama. Kuragome back on familiar territory. Needed a second bite at that. Albirex left back, born in Sapporo, formerly of Consadole. 4 years with the first team here, 78 appearances. Colours of today's opponents. Much between them in the opening 5 minutes or so. Super ball. Slipped into a little bit of space here for Komai, who's still going, and nobody could quite apply the touch to it from right in front of goal. Consa didn't really get to grips with Yota Komai. They very nearly paid a heavy price here. A little bit lucky, didn't he? Nakamura bounced up off the defender, and he was just able to react in time. Matsuda couldn't quite force it in. He was the player positioned on the post, hoping to do so. Straight start for Aitaro Matsuda, having reclaimed his place on Wednesday night. He'd come off the bench in the previous 5 matches. Shimada to take the corner short. Now does deliver directly, but it's pretty comfortably cleared away. Kiyama dispossessed. Consa look to counter, and there could be options for them to do so here. With Nakamura forward from centre back, and he's still going. He wasn't able to pick the pass at the end of it. Komai, who once again wears the captain's armband today in the absence of others. Seiya Baba alongside him in midfield, the only 2 players still started every league game for Consadole this season. This is Daiki Suga, recently returned from an ankle injury that kept him out against Kyoto Sanga a fortnight ago. It's one of just 2 matches that he's missed in this division this season. Komai. Straight draws for Albirex Niigata in J1 coming into this. 5 straight draws if you include the second round of the Empress Cup. 4-4 against Giravants of J3 that they won on penalties. Clubs also going through to the quarter-finals of the League Cup competition. The draw for that coming up next week. Been allowed to continue as Akiyama here. Is there space for the shot? Twisting and turning was Okamura, and then the effort bounces back off the post, and Akiyama sees his shot blocked as soon really as it left his boot. Still the opportunity maybe for Albirex, still plenty in support of the attack. A little bit too much on that, and Sugano grateful to be able to gather it. Relieved to see the earlier effort strike his post. The goalkeeper helpless really to do much about it. That'll be a free kick as well. Okamura caught. Good little spell from Albirex Niigata as they try and impose their authority. So close to the game's opening goal. Let's have another look at it. Didn't really react, did he, Sugano in goal? The effort from Matsuda was a good one, and he's a little unlucky. Yet to score this season on loan from Yokohama F. Marinos for the third year in succession, actually. And he's been part of Matsuhashi's squad. Of late, an important part of Matsuhashi's squad. He scored, though, in the Japanese top flight. Won't come much closer without doing so. Here's the free kick for Albirex. Plenty to try and attack it as well. And it had Sugano scrambling. Taniguchi's effort. Almost caught out the keeper. Shimada with the set piece. All he could do really was just to help that goalwards, Koto Taniguchi. It still proved to be an awkward one. Sugano being kept busy in these early exchanges. That may well continue from the corner. Positive start for those that have made the trip north. Cleared out as far as Shimada. A little unfortunate there, Albirex Niigata, that it didn't come to anything more. And forced to build again. Abe, the goalkeeper, with the clearance, and immediately his side back on the front foot again, but there is no way through this time. And Zumi, on his return to the starting lineup, comes clear with it. Nakamura still with work to do alongside him, though. He had created a little bit of space for himself for this side. Here's Tanaka to Takao. Another option on the bench at centre-back, Leo Osaki. Registered in time to be part of the matchday squad today, having returned to the J-League, where he was a title winner with Vissel Kobe last season, then departed to play for Emirates Club in the United Arab Emirates, but he's headed home in fairly short order. He's on the bench hoping for a debut. Okamura. Was closed by Sayabapa. Also able to bring Osaki in outside of the transfer window, by the way. Doesn't open for another week or so, because he became a free agent after cancelling his contract with Emirates Club, which enabled him to make that move. 32 years of age now, player of real experience. 6 years he had with Vissel Kobe. Started 9 times for them in that title-winning campaign. To bolster a defence that has conceded more goals than anyone else in this division this season. Another corner to face here. Hiroki Akiyama is going to take it for Niigata. Something similar to what we saw from the last one. Get another go. Akiyama again. On by Shimada. Nobody on the end of that. Komai able to clear pretty comfortably. Konsa can't keep hold of it, but now they win it back again with Sayabapa. Hasegawa getting involved as well. Just getting a little run in the side now. Tatsuya Hasegawa. making it a third straight start. They only begun one league game all season before this current run in the team. Was initially content to let that go. Getting too tight to Yoto Komi. He's been in good goal-scoring form of late, with 4 in his last 7 in all competitions. Only 2 goals all season in J1. His 4th senior season now, having joined the club straight out of high school. Trying to combine there with Taniguchi was Komi. Still searching really for a settled front line this season under Matsuhashi. A number of players who can rotate a number of different roles. Koshi Suzuki missing through injury today. Came off the bench actually in midweek against Sanfrecce Hiroshima, and then was substituted as a substitute and misses out today. That started the previous 6 league matches prior to that. And he is often the one that can bring others into play, create the space for his teammates. Does change the dynamic somewhat when he's not there. Goalkeeper Koto Abe again. To be patient for his chance and hoping to seize that this week. It's actually his 5th season with the senior squad, but he's only been a backup since he joined from university. Dakisuga taking on Fujiwara. Tanaka. Point is intended from Tanaka. And Komsa have to try and hurry back to win it back, and do so. Do so fairly this time, according to the referee, but he has now stopped the play, with Okamura still down. Was why the challenge coming in from Yuki Kobayashi. Just back from a suspension, Kobayashi, having served that 1 match ban in midweek for his 4th yellow card of the campaign, but fortunate, I think, to get away with that one. Pressure on Petrovic, and there is Matsuhashi coming into this game, despite both sides still being involved in the relegation equation. Petrovic with more matches managed in this division than any other manager in history. In his 7th season with Consadole. By some margin, it's proving his most difficult so far. Back underway here. The referee, as I mentioned at the time, didn't give the free kick, rather curiously. Stopped the play so Okamura could get some treatment, but no further action taken against Kobayashi, and judging by the replays that we've seen, a little surprising. There's Horigome. Chase on for Matsuda over there against Nakamura, making a 6th straight start. Centre back Toya Nakamura. And with defensive improvements in the last couple of games. Certainly the last home game last weekend against Yokohama F. Marinos. They would probably have counted themselves unfortunate to lose the game to a disputed penalty given for handball. Again, failed really to find enough of an attacking threat. Scored now in their last 3 games in this division. They've only scored more than once in a match, twice all season. Hence the change up top. Omori coming into the side ahead of Suzuki today. Yet he's somebody at the age of 23, playing only his 2nd season of senior football, who has yet to score a first-team goal. He's the one that they're looking to, really, to provide that greater goal threat. Astor's top scorer, Yuya Asano, remains one of those out through injury. It's a 7th straight game that he's been sidelined for after a hamstring problem. He did actually score on his last appearance. They're missing their provider-in-chief as well, Super Chop, with that hamstring injury. He picked up on their international duty with Thailand earlier this month. He was hurt in the World Cup qualifier against Singapore. And this is a 4th straight game today. 4 assists this season. He's the team leader in that particular statistic, and his absence has been keenly felt in recent weeks. Took a tumble after playing the pass. Albirex still have it. Shimada. Origome. Yama trying to improvise. Important role to play in this side this season. He's assumed more responsibility this year. He really tries to set the tempo for them in midfield. Keepers Conses. Yet to have opened his senior goal account, Omori, but that's what he does bring to the side. Willingness to work, to get back and help out his defence as well. But the effort of this side, the commitment hasn't been questioned in recent weeks. It's been really the lack of belief, maybe, and quality that has cost them. Obvious signs of that changing in the opening quarter of this contest. And he had just got his foot to that first. That's the free kick going in his favour. From the Japanese under-19 international. Suzuki having to watch on from the bench today. Much more was expected when he returned for a 2nd spell at the club. He played with Consa in 2019 and 2020 as well. 18 goals across those 2 years, but just the 1 in the League Cup so far since his return for 2024. There's Sayababa. Komai. Last couple of away games, Albirex Niigata unbeaten in 3 since they lost at Shannon Belmare. Just 1 win in 5 on their travels. That was a notable one. That came at the leaders, Machida Zelfia, on the first day of this month. 3 away wins so far, but under a little bit of pressure here, although the flag is up against Omori. Having picked him out, but in an offside position when he did so. He played the advantage a little earlier in the piece, but the offside looked the correct call from there. Baba, who was on the receiving end of that challenge from Shimada. It's an important duel in the heart of midfield, that one to keep an eye on, that could be important in setting the tempo of the game, which has been pretty high for the first 25 minutes without either side really able to exert authority. Concerns though for Consadole and Petrovic, given how this has started, and of course Albirex Niigata through Matsuda, coming by some margin the closest to scoring the opening goal of the game with the effort off the post. Tekao here goes back to Sugano. Tanaka. We'll get it back from Baba. Forward in towards Hasegawa. But he quite had that under control for Consadole. Could cost them because of that. Komai the target. Want to get on the end of it. He has a little bit of support as well from Shimada. Horigome. He has stayed forward in white here. This is Akiyama. Taniguchi. And Fujiwara advancing forward from fullback. Too many opportunities to do that so far this afternoon, but Fujiwara trying to help it on here towards Matsuda. Combination between those two down the right could be important. Neatly done, cleverly done in the build-up, but the shot when it comes too close to Sugano, without the power really to unduly trouble the goalkeeper. Michael Fitzgerald up from the back. Neatly touched into his path, wasn't it? And it did just open up for the experienced centre-back, the one-time New Zealand international. He's been a Japanese citizen for over a decade now. Those coming back into the Albirex team today. He actually opened the scoring in the 2-2 draw between the sides in Niigata last season when scoring an own goal. He came to Consa and won by a 1-0 almost a year ago, their last visit. 1-1 it finished in Niigata earlier this season. 13th of April. Tanaka tight to the touchline. Comes back to Takao, making his third straight start. Former Gamba Osaka player. There's again Takao. Leaves it for Sugano. Albirex Niigata not interested in pressing too high just at the moment. Komai with the switch of play. Albirex do like to dominate possession. At times they've done that pretty effectively this season without really creating as many chances from that as they would have hoped. Quite recovered their goal threat since the departure of Ryotaro Ito to St Trouden in Belgium halfway through last season. Really struggled to replace him. Scored 7 goals in the first half of last season, and he actually ended last year as their top scorer, despite leaving in June. Certainly not changed their style of play, though, after his departure under Natsuhashi. Quite had the same sort of spark, though, in the final third. Again, Azumi featuring in a 12th successive game in J1 in his first senior season. But the previous 3 appearances were all off the bench before his return to the 11 today. He was previously playing lower down the leagues with Iwaki for the last couple of years before arriving in Sapporo. Bit of a standoff just at the moment. And the tech hours comes to try and change that. Looking for Suga. Nakamura will find him. Hasegawa. Nothing to separate them half an hour in. Under the Dome. Game of the J1 weekend. Tight turnaround, of course, after that full midweek round of fixtures on Wednesday night. Turnaround for these two, tighter than the rest. It seems as if Albirex are more than content to let Consa have the ball in their own half. Forward. Yashi trying to slip it through. Tanaka the target. Couldn't quite reach it. He's been getting a little regular run in the side, Hiromu Tanaka, of late. It's the 4th game in 6 in which he started. Begun 1 league match all season prior to that. Petrovic still searching for a winning formula. He has been told, as have the supporters and the sponsors, that his job is safe for the season. I believe they will be best served avoiding relegation by sticking with what they know, doubling down on their beliefs, backing their boss. Much that he hasn't seen in the J-League down the years. This is the worst run of form, really, that the side he's overseen has endured. He was previously relegated in his first ever season in Japan with Sanfrecce Hiroshima back in 2006. They did reach the cup final that year. They were promoted straight back, and he's operated in the top flight ever since. There's Nakamura. Again, he's covered good ground, joining in with the attack from centre-back. Quite reach Suga. Touch out of play from Hasegawa. Mora, who's down for Albirex Niigata. Quite a rise for the 22-year-old centre-back, who is technically a player on loan from Toyo University. Part of the squad as a designated special player. He only started in the J-League for the first time in his career on Wednesday night, and he's kept his place at centre-back. He'll become a regular member of the squad, a permanent member of the squad until next year. Alongside Michael Fitzgerald at centre-back this afternoon. He is 13 years his junior. players taking on the fluids when they get the opportunity. Very hot afternoon in Sapporo under the dome. Temperatures topping 30 degrees Celsius in the city today. Time of year, isn't it? Maybe having a little bit of an effect on the pace of the game as well, which has dipped since the early stages. There's Abe. Shimada with space. Komai. Origome joining in with the attack as he likes to do from the left. He had time to set his sights there, Hiroki Akiyama, and didn't have them set accurately enough. He was the Albirex Niigata goal scorer when these sides last met in April in that 1-1 draw. It remains the only goal that he's ever scored in the J1 League. 6th season out of high school now for Akiyama. I talked about the added responsibility for him in midfield this season. He's really taken over from Takehiro Ko's at FC Tokyo these days as the chief creator, tempo setter in midfield. To add goals to his game. It's a different type of role, really, that he's been asked to play. Not for the first time today goes Sayababa. Clearly caught. The hand of apology offered immediately. So going to try and tee one up, but never troubling the target. Another looking for his first goal of the season, Tatsuya Hasegawa. Much of it has been spent on the fringes of the first team until the last few weeks. This goal actually came for Tokyo Verdy, where he was on loan last season from Yokohama, as they won promotion from J2. He's not scored in the top flight since the summer of 2020 for his former club Kawasaki Frontale. Baba battling for it. He was just caught. To the frustration of Shimada. Are we going to see a change already? Suzuki being summoned, having been dropped to the bench this afternoon. It was the big selection decision made by Petrovic. It's one that the fans have been calling for, really. Even Suzuki struggles in front of goal recently, but it may well be that he's required here, and it looks like Hasegawa's not going to be able to continue. Change forced upon Misha Petrovic, it would appear. Tatsuya Hasegawa sees his afternoon end early. Something of a reprieve, earlier than expected for Suzuki. He's summoned as a sub. He started 13 times this season. He started the previous 4 games. He's forced on into the action before the first half is finished here. A hug of consolation for Hasegawa. And has he just been added to a very lengthy injury list? Well, a vast experience, Musashi Suzuki. Japanese international is on. Tanaka on the ball, with play back underway. Takao to cross it in. Plenty back in white to deal with it. Takao again, the target, he got something on it. Sayababa. Quite the conviction, though, is there, from Consadole when they get it in those sort of areas. Pretty comfortable at the back for Albirex for the most part today. Kept a clean sheet in their last 11 league matches. Kept 2 all season. It's Shimada in the thick of things. This time it was he who went down. Fourth straight start for the former Nagasaki player. Zuru Shimada in the heart of midfield. Horigome forward. Taniguchi caught in possession by Ayazumi. Here's Suzuki. Suga taking on Fujiwara. It's just behind Suzuki. Improvised effort was close from Ayazumi. Well, he was onto it smartly, the centre back. He stayed forward after that earlier foray, and well, he's a little unlucky there. Abe may well argue that he had it covered, but it gone the other side of the post. Would have been an unlikely goal scorer. Petrovic needs something from somewhere. He did score his first goal for the club, actually, in the League Cup victory at Nagano-Passero, which they prevailed on penalties in. It's almost a year since he last scored in league football in J2 for his former club Owaki. There's a chance for him today. And the closest, really, that Consadole have come in this first half, which is into its final 5. Opportunity, I think, for both of these sides to get a vital victory on the board today. Who can step up and seize that chance? Consa's need is clearly the greater. Because of that, so too may be the pressure on their shoulders as well. It has weighed a little heavily at times. Side really able to put together sustained spells of pressure and possession. Gomez did just enough with that ahead of Tanaka. This is his 8th season now with Albirex Niigata since leaving today's opponents. He is the club captain, Yuta Horigome. He summoned late in the game off the bench in midweek before returning to the 11 today. Here's Daiki Suga. Didn't quite come for Suzuki. Neatly done by Akiyama, found himself outnumbered. That's a useful point that they picked up on Wednesday at Sanfrecce. Side at the other end of the table, of course. That 1-1 draw. Here's Ryo Takao. He's found a little bit of space, 2 in the middle to try and pick out. Suzuki was his target, but it's cleared away by Inamura. Well, there, the young centre-back. He made his league debut as a substitute at the end of April, Inamura. The vastly experienced Suzuki. Will be one of the targets for this corner kick for Consa. Trying to mix it up a little bit. It's Komai. It certainly didn't quite work as intended. Suga has to scamper after it to retrieve possession. Komai didn't have too many options immediately available. He goes longer. Kobayashi. Komai coming under pressure, wins the free kick. Those watching on from the stands. Ambassadorial role these days with Consadole after his retirement as a player at the end of last season. There's Tanaka. Well, they need a leader really to step up and assume responsibility this season. And transform their fortunes. Ryo Takao up from the back. Takes a tumble, but he was looking, I think, more in hope, in expectation towards the referee there. Kobayashi has it here as we go into 3 additional minutes at the end of this first half. But again, it was a further example, wasn't it, a moment ago, of Consadole getting themselves in a promising position without really the conviction to make it count. Issue at times for Albirex Niigata this season as well. Similar lines, maybe not quite to the same pronounced extent. There hasn't been much between them today. Akiyama. Fitzgerald, 6th season of his second spell at Albirex Niigata. For the centre-back, foul again on Baba. He's been pretty adept at winning some of those today. Taken quickly by Komai this time. Takao. Tanaka. Likely to be penalised for his attempt to win the ball there against Taniguchi. Skipper trying to lead from the front and inject some urgency into this performance, into this team. Still almost half of the season to go, but there's a sense already that time is running out for Consa if they are to give themselves a chance and a shot at safety this season. 6 straight defeats in J1 for the first time since the summer of 2017. They've not lost 7 in a row in the same season for 12 years now. That's 9 in succession between April and July of 2012. It's their worst run of form since then. They have lost 8 of their last 9 matches. He's scored 9 times at home this season, but he has managed fewer than that in this division in front of their own fans. This one for Taniguchi, across came Komai. Last chance in this first half for Albirex Niigata. I think plenty forward for it, because there probably won't be time for them to need to get back again. Everybody up for the corner, then into a congested penalty area. Keeper didn't really get enough on that as Sugano came. It was awkward for him. Didn't have the room in which to work. It's going to be the last action of the first half, in which the two teams really have cancelled each other out to an extent. Albirex Niigata looked likelier earlier in the game and came the closest through Matsuda's effort off the post. Suzuki was dropped to the bench today, has been summoned as a sub already because of an injury to Hasegawa, but as yet Consadole, who haven't scored in their last 3 matches, have infrequently threatened to do so in this first half. But both teams, as they head for the dressing rooms at the interval, will still feel they are very much in a position to go on and win this, but more is going to be required from either of them if they are to do so. Half-time at the Sapporo Dome, it is Hokkaido Consadole Sapporo 0, Albirex Niigata 0.
MEIJI YASUDA J1 LEAGUE 第21節マネーフォワードでパートナーとともにもっと前へ。北海道コンサドーレ札幌対アルビレックス新潟、後半キックオフ時間は15時7分です。さあ、それではピッチにご注目いただきましょう。後半に向けて、ゴールに向けてスタジアムを熱く盛り上げてもらいます。北海道コンサドーレ札幌、勝利の女神コンサドールズのパフォーマンスです。Proud to present the club debut of America's newest recording stars, The Dreams.
Every man has a selfish dream, and your dream's just about to come true. Life's not as bad as it may seem if you open your eyes to what's in front of you. Your dream is bright and make it happy, yeah. Your dream is voice will always care. Your dream
医療ドコモコナミデジタルエンターテインメントイチゴオフィシャルエクイプメントパートナーはアディダスジャパンモルテンスポーツ振興パートナーはスポーツくじオフィシャルチケッティングパートナーはフィアオフィシャル EC プラットフォームパートナーは楽天グループオフィシャルテクノロジーパートナーは NTT グループ以上の各社が今年の明治安田 J リーグを熱くサポートいたします。
MEIJI YASUDA J1 LEAGUE 全試合配信J リーグですここ
北海道札幌クラシック出たよ。変わらないもの
変わり続ける
北海道新聞社。
対戦カードはご覧の通りです。 前から選手たちへの応援もさらにギアを上げ、必ずゴールを、そして勝利を。超攻撃的なスピードでアタックを投げ違いなんて、この手に勝利を我々に。We are Hokkaido
So here they come for the second half at the Sapporo Dome. No goals yet between Hokkaido Consadole Sapporo and Albirex Niigata. A battle between two teams involved at the wrong end of the J1 League table so far. Consa propping up the rest. Albirex Niigata with twice as many points as their opponents coming into today, but just a couple of places clear of the relegation zone themselves. Both will feel that they have a major opportunity this afternoon to go on and win this game. Neither were quite good enough really in that first half to get themselves in front. Albirex coming close through Matsuda's effort off the post. Consa pressed and probed as the half wore on without really threatening Kota Abe too frequently in the Albirex goal. Misha Petrovic did make a first half change, bringing on Suzuki in place of Hasegawa late in the half. There was no obvious injury, but Hasegawa looked disconsolate when withdrawn. It may potentially have been a tactical change we're hearing. With Suzuki dropped from the starting lineup today, brought on instead before the break. So Consa need to do something more. Still looking for his first league goal of the season since his return to the club. It's the third straight game in which it's been goalless at half-time for Consa, and they lost the last two by a solitary goal to nil. So underway then, Consa kicking off the second half in Sapporo. More required from both here. Albirex Niigata will be relatively satisfied so far, but certainly think they can win the game. But the first threat posed is from the home side. It's not yet been dealt with either. Komai's effort. At the second attempts, Kota Abe was able to grab it. Present this season, Yoshiaki Komai, but just the one league goal so far this year. He wasn't really able to extend Abe with that effort. Open up at the other end for Matsuda, but Nakamura got back to him quickly, and importantly, so we'll be looking for more in this second half to up the intensity really and the urgency. Petrovic is always asked for his comments, which are provided by the club on social media at half-time, and he said that they need to improve their final accuracy, they need to get closer. Let's run and win, he said at the interval. And his side be able to respond to those words here. This is a bit brighter from them. Komai to Baba. Put away by Matsuda. Suzuki. Komai again heavily involved at the start of the second half. Omori to Suzuki. These two try and combine up top. Baba battling for it. And did well not to give up on that. Well, they are displaying the urgency, aren't they? At the start of this second period, but still not quite the end product yet, as Kobayashi's effort went well wide. But he does appear to have provoked some sort of response from his team, does Petrovic. No further changes made at the interval. Of course, options off the bench are a little limited these days, such as the number of absentees that they're having to cope with. Prospects would be significantly enhanced should they get some of those players back in fairly short order. It's thought the likes of Yuya Asano, last season's top scorer, isn't too far away now from a return. Suzuki was able to turn and takes it on, and then it's Komai who flashes it goalwards. He certainly caught hold of it, did the captain. He looks in the mood at the start of this second period. The previous goal this season came in the 2-1 defeat at Kashiwa Reysol, 19th of May. Did score 4 goals last year. Former Urawa Reds player. Sachi Suzuki certainly played his part. Komai took the shot off him. Power, but not the accuracy from Yoshiaki Komai. Consadole have never beaten Albirex Niigata in the J1 League in 9 previous meetings. Albirex have won 6 and drawn the other 3. 12 meetings without defeat in all competitions against today's opponents, aside from Niigata. Chubu region of Japan, the most populous city on the west coast of Honshu. Second season back in the top flight of Japanese football. After 5 successive seasons in the second tier before taking the title in 2022. Played in J1 for 14 years in a row prior to that. Slot seamlessly back into life in the top tier last year, with that top 10 finish. Something similar is still possible this year, despite the 16th position in which they started today. They are closer to the top half of the table than they are the bottom 3 in terms of points. A win here would certainly help in that aim. On the board before any of their rivals are in action this weekend. A little bit of space maybe to advance here. Matsuda does have support arriving in the middle. Sugano dealt with it initially. So turned by Akiyama. He wins it well again here and then lost it. More striding forward. That familiar fashion. Suga. This is Komai. Tanaka. He couldn't quite make it stick. Perhaps argue he hasn't really had the service so far. Shingo Omori on a rare start for Consadole. Suzuki stopped in his tracks as well, and here comes the counter as a result of that, led by Taniguchi. He's not short of support either, he's going to take it on! Oh, brilliant! Wonderful goal from Kaito Taniguchi! And Albirex Niigata lead in a game where chances had been at a premium. It has taken something special to separate them. And Taniguchi has provided it. Scoring for the second game in succession, having also put them in front at Sanfrecce on Wednesday night. Allowed to advance, the Consa defence backpedaling, made to pay. It's the 6th league goal of the season in total. And it's one to remember. It is one of real significance potentially. Piles on the problems for Petrovic and Consadole. Beaten by a goal to nil in their previous 2 matches. Are they facing something similar once more? Might be the moment that the match needed, though. It was a spectacle. It really does lay down the challenge to the home side, who had begun, in fairness, this second half a bit brighter. It's been a recurring theme that they've not been able to capitalise on spells such as that. Once more, they're going to have to do this the hard way. His goal on Wednesday was a first in 6 matches for Taniguchi in this division. He's wasted no time in adding to his tally. 6 goals is twice as many as he managed last season. As I say, it really does add to the pressure that Petrovic is feeling right now. Kick cleared away, despite suggesting the corner may well have been the correct outcome. Whether that will be contentious may be determined by what follows. It's Akiyama who's gone down and got the free kick for Albirex Niigata. They've put themselves in such a promising position now. Kobayashi, who came across to make the challenge, as again I think avoided the caution. Probably won't get away with too many more of those in terms of the number already committed. Sumi's header is returned by Inamura. Suzuki. Here's Sayababa. Kobayashi. Take it on and it will carry for the corner off Inamura. This is where Consa need to find their response. Taken quickly. Just about dealt with. It's out as far as the captain Komai. Back in it goes again. Fitzgerald is the one who repels it. As far as Sayababa, Suga in support will try and stand at the cross, but it's too close to the keeper. Suzuki showing good strength. And then skipping into some space, Suzuki, denied by Inamura, who just got across in time. Masashi Suzuki had delayed the shot for a split second or so. And ultimately it cost him. This was all his own work though. Threatened to go through the lot of them. Did have support from Amori in the middle as well. And they got the better of one centre-back as he skipped away from Fitzgerald. Couldn't get the beating of the other one, Inamura. Perfectly poised right now, though, isn't it? Nakamura forward. Chase on for Shingo Omori. He will reach it ahead of Inamura. He needs a little bit of support, which is provided initially by Ryo Takao. Komai. Neatly done for Tanaka. Suzuki. Let slip under his boot. Not sure his teammate was quite where he thought he was there. Some pressure now being applied. To be careful, of course, up the other end. That's the danger for Consa. Margin for error for them now. Akiyama. It goes through him, doesn't it? Chasing again for the goal scorer. Taniguchi is going to reach that. Have support from Matsuda. Couldn't quite force a way through. 3 straight league draws with which they come into today's game. Albirex Niigata did lead in all 3 of those matches without being able to hold on to the victory. Determined to try and change that narrative today as they go in search of the second. Matsuda. Oh, that was neatly done. And it might yet break for Taniguchi again. It rolls wide. Some fast feet from Okamura just prior to that. May well need the second. Just bounced away off Taniguchi initially. Lead at Kashima Antlers a couple of weeks ago lasted only 7 second-half minutes. They went in front against Kawasaki Frontale last weekend, 7 minutes into stoppage time, and conceded an equaliser 11 minutes into stoppage time. And they led as well through Taniguchi's goal at Sanfrecce on Wednesday before Saturio's equaliser before the opening half an hour was out. In contrast, Consa haven't scored in J1 since that remarkable 5-3 defeat at Tokyo Verdy at the start of this month. It's their first game of June, and it's their final game of June. As yet there's not been a single point picked up along the way. Nakamura again getting forward. This time getting the corner. Despite this wretched run that they're on and unstinting support, has remained unwavering, as has the club's support for their coach, of course. Will that be rewarded? Kobayashi's going to take the corner. Comfortably cleared away. Quite get enough elevation on that. Tanaka turns it infield for Komai. Tanaka again. Falls on Sayababa. Free kick Consadole. Never wants the ball back. Frustrations beginning to build amongst those in red and black. Spectacular from here. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. Kobayashi standing over it. To score a league goal this season. Does have a couple in the League Cup. Time to size this one up. He is going directly for goal, but he knew from the moment it left his boot that it wasn't going where he needed it to. Sum up the situation to an extent. They're getting a little desperate right now. The situation becoming increasingly so down at the foot of the table. It won't get much easier next weekend with a trip to title-chasing Kashima Antlers a week today. Home game then comes against the champions, Vissel Kobe. Those fixtures piling on the importance really of this one, which on paper is a much more winnable game. Trying to help that on. Inamura. He's shown composure beyond his years at times today. bit of space for Sayababa to advance into. 3 or 4 ahead of him, couldn't pick the pass though. Siniša Petrovic at the bottom of your screen, very animated on the edge of his technical area, urging his team forward. That's the importance of this next half an hour or so. In a situation where they have to decide whether they want to stick or twist. They may well need that second goal, as I mentioned. They will sense the chance to score it, given the numbers that Consa are having to push forward. It looks like they're going to be introducing some fresh legs in pursuit of it, because triple change seemingly being readied on the touchline there. From Tanaka, but he was never quite getting to that. That will afford the chance for the visitors to make these changes. Yoshi Ono is coming on, Thomas Deng, the Australian international, is coming on, and Motoki Hasegawa as well, who started in midweek. So Okamura, Matsuda and Horigome coming off, the captain, one of those being withdrawn. A little bit of a reshuffle at the back with Thomas Deng slotting in. He played every minute actually of their previous 7 games before being left out of the starting lineup today. Yoshi Ono made his return on Wednesday off the bench after missing 6 matches. He's into the action as well, as is Hasegawa. Start against Sanfrecce was his first in 7 matches. Hashi switching things up, heading towards the closing quarter of the game, freshening things up for Albirex Niigata as they try and push on from a position of strength here. Try and do what they haven't been able to in those last 3 draws and hold on to a lead. Take this quickly. Taniguchi continued his run. Strong surge from Hasegawa. His first involvement is an immediate one. Taniguchi, Hasegawa. It went towards Ono. First season at the club. Yoshi Ono, he was brought in from Sagan Tosu, where he spent the last couple of years. Of Yokohama F. Marinos. He had a stint in Europe as well, in Belgium, with Standard Liège and St. Trouden. Experienced player to be able to call upon at this stage. Wasn't it, from Hasegawa? Showing his confidence straight away. There's Komai. Come back at them though. Taniguchi. And again, Kaito Taniguchi. His goal early in the second half remains the difference right now. Midway point of the second half. Consadole's lead is great. They have to find something extra from here. 6 straight defeats is not to become 7. Free kick. look at that and allowed it to continue. So Baba wriggles into a little bit of room here. Suzuka changes, I think, imminent for Consadole as well now. Suzuki going down. He was brought on, of course, in the first half. He has to settle for the throw here. To play at the back, Michael Fitzgerald. And it's going to be a debut. Ryo Osaki, summoned as a substitute, having only been registered the other day. He's been with the club for about a week or so, since joining from Emirates Club. He had that brief spell in the UAE. Before they can get him into the action, there's further work to do defensively. Because here come Albirex Niigata again with Komai. Akiyama prioritised possession, although it was a little behind Thomas Deng. So he's gone into the centre of defence as expected, alongside Fitzgerald, and Moore has gone wider. Triple change of his own being plotted by Petrovic here. He's going to make it, I think, before this free kick. So first into the action, Katsuyuki Tanaka. He made his first ever J1 start on Wednesday in the defeat against Tokyo. He comes on. Kazuki Hara, a regular off the bench recently. 7th straight game that he's been summoned as a sub. And there for his debut is Osaki. So Takao, Omori and Tanaka. Hiromu Tanaka are the 3 to make way. Notable change is the introduction of the former Vissel Kobe player. Swift return to the J-League after 6 months away. 6 years he had in Kobe. Minutes to go today. Misha Petrovic making a bold move off the bench. Now his team about to be undone here, off the post from Ono. That was very nearly the reaction from Consadole, because Yuji Ono looked as if he was about to make it 2-0. He's actually stayed down, so that's why his team are going to put the ball out of play. Get some treatment, but very nearly put the game beyond Consadole's reach, really, in the context of this contest. Just got to it first. Head of Osaki. Flush against the frame of the goal. Well, that would have been a nightmare introduction, wouldn't it? On debut for Ryo Osaki, with the player beaten to the ball by Yuji Ono. Still slotting in to his new side. Well, that's Sahashi's team come to regret not capitalising on that. Didn't do a lot wrong, Yuji Ono. He was really unfortunate, and it has come at some cost to him as well, as the treatment continues. Just got himself goal side, got his boot to the ball first, and on another day that could very easily have on the other side of the post. Just back from injury after missing those 6 matches. It would have been time. It would have been hard to see Consa coming back from 2 behind. That's the goal that they do trail to, scored by Kaito Taniguchi. 7 minutes into this second half, that is still the difference. He has looked a threat. Scoring in successive matches this week. Scoring in some style this afternoon. Matsuhashi's team look to take a big step away from the relegation zone. Further enhance the coach's credentials. His reputation has certainly risen during his 2.5 years in the job. He was previously the assistant to Ricky Puig in 2021, took over from the Spaniard the following year. He was a one-time assistant, actually, of Ange Postecoglou. They worked together at Yokohama F. Marinos. 3 years there as a first-team assistant. Here come Konsa with Dakisuga. Trying to link with Suzuki. Didn't quite come off. Oh no, after that period of treatment, back in the action, back on the ball. Just crowded out of it, but we'll probably settle for that in the circumstances. He's very close, wasn't he, Ono, to his first goal for the club, which, as I say, might have put this beyond Petrovic's team. His last goal was actually against Albirex Niigata for Sagantosu in October. One of 8 that he scored in this division last season. Fujiwara with the throw. He hasn't missed a minute of the last 15 league games now, including this one. But 1 all season in J1. Soya Fujiwara still in there scrapping for it here. Shimada, there's an element of control, isn't there, about Albirex Niigata at the moment. They're being able to impose on the game. As much as that is possible with a slender 1-0 lead. From Konsa in search of that equalising goal. It almost opened up. Tanaka. The player in his first senior season out of university. First league start on Wednesday. Toya Nakamura, who's down. Sliding into the challenge. Just have overstretched himself. There was a little bit of contact there as well, potentially painfully. Certainly on this evidence. That would be the last thing that he needs. Another addition to the injury list, having just made a change at centre-back as well. Only a few minutes ago. As if another change is going to be required. Yamato Okada. Would be a league debut for him. He was on loan from university last year. He's now a permanent member of the squad. He's played 4 times in the cup competitions this season, but yet to feature in J1. Maybe until now. Doesn't look as if Nakamura is going to be able to continue after that. Pretty innocuous one. Be concerned, of course, not just about the remainder of this game, but potentially going forward if another first-team regular enters the treatment room. Doesn't look too bad, Nakamura. Might just be able to wait a little while. And Nakamura is going to attempt to continue. Both into double figures now, 4 shots at goal. More chances created by Albirex Niigata. Summing up the struggles in Sapporo this season, really, in that respect. Suzuki the target here. Thomas Deng reaching it first. Did win his 4th cap for Australia in March, did Deng. He went to the World Cup with them in 2022 without getting off the bench in Qatar. Nakamura back on the ball here. Albirex will try and assess just how fit he is after that injury scare. Komai taking over. He's got some room in which to work and delivers dangerously. gets the header away. Still hasn't quite been dealt with yet, though. He'll have to settle for the corner. With a dozen minutes of the 90 to play. Will the goal drought go on? Third straight 1-0 defeat is getting closer for Consadole. Tanaka to take the corner with the in-swinger, too close to Abe. Hasn't really been extended, has he, today? Had to do. He's dealt with a measure of confidence, belying his inexperience really at first team level. 4 appearances in the Cups this season for Abe. 4 times in J1 last year. He's had to wait until Wednesday for his first appearance in the top flight this term. It was his first extra since the goalless draw against Kashiwa Reysol over a year ago. And here is Ono. Never quite had it under control. It came at him a little awkwardly. Gianna dispossessed briefly on that occasion. To his frustration. Problems for Consadole appear pretty deep-rooted, don't they, this season? Pressure has been building for a while. They've built some pressure of their own on the Niigata goal in these closing stages. That's what's needed. It's back at the end of April. They held an online meeting with fans to discussed the season so far, and they set the target of avoiding the relegation zone by the end of May. That wasn't achieved, and they find themselves even further short of safety now at the end of June. And they get themselves back on terms here. Kobayashi to Suga. Fujiwara did well to prevent the cross getting any further at the expense of the corner. Defensive determination about this Niigata side. So try and hold on to what they have, try and keep what would be only a 3rd clean sheet of the J1 season. The other 2 came in 1-0 victories as well, against Nagoya Grampus in March and at Kyoto Sanga in April. 11 games without one coming into this. Well, the change has had to be made. Nakamura gave it a go, but he's not been able to run off that injury. So it's a league debut for Yamato Okada. Difficult situation in which he steps. Komai still scrapping for it. Before Suga could help him out though. This is the danger, isn't it, for Consa. Taniguchi was trying to pick out Yuji Ono, who would have had a bit of space in the middle, but it didn't reach him. Azumi. Suzuki to target through the middle. Nakayama. As it stands, take Albirex Niigata up to 13th place in the table. Here they come in pursuit of the second that might just secure the victory. All sorts of space here. And Kome couldn't make the most of it. He showed a bit too much of it to Sugano. was almost in right at the start of the game, wasn't he? Yuta Komae, he's been kept pretty quiet until that moment. And he will maybe feel that he should have had his say. Second at that stage, he almost certainly has settled it. It's his team in the game here, Sugano. Yama was unselfish. The keeper actually slipped initially, but if anything, that served to put off Komae a little bit. And he too lost his footing to an extent at the crucial moment. Shimada. It will be a yellow card for Osaki. That's the first of the game. It's taken until now for referee Ueda to reach for his pocket. Foot was high from Ryo Osaki. I certainly feel the ball was there to be won. Just mistimed it. So booking on debut. Certainly a position that they were hoping to strengthen, and they were able to do so. As I mentioned before, the transfer window has even opened by bringing in Osaki on a free transfer. He's had a pretty difficult debut since being brought off the bench. Very short sample size so far. He's a player who they hope his experience will be important to what is going to be a relegation battle in the second half of the season. The defeat here would mean that really does become an uphill battle for Consadole. Still not shown enough to suggest that they are capable of kick-starting their campaign. Hashi's side with a promising position from the free kick that will follow here. Toki Hasegawa is going to take it, just waiting for Thomas Deng to make his way up from the back. It's delivered behind him, it's yet dealt with. Ueno's effort charged away. Final 5 of the 90 now. Suzuki has been served up scraps really and no more. His determination to make a difference, having been brought off the bench late in the first half. That's a good ball. Slipped into space, going to take the shot on himself. Oh, plenty of power, but it whistles just right. Comes to living very dangerously now. Shimada will feel that he could have settled it there. They feel he should have settled it there. He was close to doing so. It's a couple of big scares now in Sapporo for the home side. I have to say, Albirex Niigata are looking the more likely to score the game's second goal if there is to be one. Suzuki. There's been a real resilience about their work at the back, Albirex Niigata. They are close to being able to reap a reward from that. Just be a second away clean sheet of the league season for them if they can hold on to this. Osaki forward. This is more promising for Consa, but the shot straight at Koto Abe. People right behind it, wasn't extended. There were other options there in red and black in attack. Certainly not going to give up on it. Struck by Tanaka. There's another who is looking to score what would be his first ever goal in senior football. Katsuyuki Tanaka. That would be quite the time to choose. Taniguchi at the other end, and Ono, who he was trying to pick out in the middle. Getting stretched in the closing stages here. Daiki Suga forward. Okeda. Yoshiaki Takaki waiting to come on for Niigata. Another change shortly. There's Suzuki. Nasugawa. Sayababa. Favoured by the bounce of the ball, Kobayashi. They had 3 to try and aim at in the penalty area. It's just beyond them. The change will happen here, and the goal scorer is coming off. Still cast in the role of match winner as he makes way, Kaito Taniguchi. Going to be replaced by Takaki. And that is to be the moment that wins the game. It's a strike worthy of it. Takaki comes on. The third substitute appearance of his season. He's on the way back from injury. He missed the previous 8 matches with a hamstring problem. Delighted to get just a few minutes back in the first team fold. Particularly this side can hold on to the victory here. Plenty of late drama involving Niigata recently, though, including that last home game against Kawasaki Frontale last weekend. And they took the lead 7 minutes into stoppage time and conceded the equaliser 4 minutes later. I'd imagine there'd be quite that amount of time to add on today. We'll find out in a moment. 7 more minutes from here. So there is time yet for Consadole. Haven't quite shown enough in the 90 that has preceded it to suggest that that is likely. Fujiwara here waiting to take the throw. He can afford to take his time. Where they want them pinned back in this part of the pitch. And just stayed on the pitch. Suga goes in field to Komai. Suzuki's had to drop deeper. He was able to pick up the pieces there. Potentially turn defence into attack. Sayababa. Costly there, being caught in possession. It's ended up costing the captain a card. Komai having to take one for the team. Put the brakes on quickly enough, really, could he, in the end? Yoshiaki Komai there. Confirmation of his caution. Second booking of the game. Don't commit too many forward for the long free kick. Albirex from here. Not at this stage. Play again towards Suzuki. Deng beats him in the air. Falls favourably for those in white. Yuji Ono. Charge down, it almost came for Komai. Still was able to help it on there for Ono. Fujiwara. There's Takaki. His first notable involvement off the bench. Be relieved to have him back available again after that spell on the sidelines. The former Tokyo Verdy player. Experienced campaigner, he's in his 7th year now with Albirex Niigata. So many of the side that came up as J2 champions in 2022 stayed with the club last year. settled squad for a good few seasons now. No rush from the corner. Stay like this, then Matsuhashi's team will be within 2 points of the top 10. This, of course, is where they finished last year. 5 points and 2 places better off than Consadole. His slide has been considerable. Frustrated there, Takisuga. Just can't get out, can't get the ball back. Time ticking away. Takaki to take the free kick. Again, they prioritise just holding on to it, try and tick the clock down. Still got about 3 more minutes yet of added time. Consecutive seasons of top-flight football, a club record for Consadole. It's very much under threat. This stage, unlikely to become 9, unless there is a dramatic turnaround in their fortunes. For a side who haven't finished lower than 12th since they returned to the top flight. Relegated in 2012, they spent 4 years in the second tier. They've been pretty comfortable in mid-table ever since. Until this year, that is. Made by Fitzgerald. Komai. Everyone back in white behind the ball here. By Osaki. Harmlessly through to Koto Abe. We have said that before this afternoon. Frustration for the fans must be, it is a similar story almost every week right now. There were signs of an improved performance against Yokohama F. Marinos. That in itself, not enough right now. Points desperately required. And even that hasn't necessarily been sustained. This is a type of display that they've seen all too frequently this season here. There's not been enough proof of progress, really. To the last minute of added time. To the second half of the J1 season. Consa at real risk of being cut adrift. Most of their relegation rivals yet to take to the field this weekend. Just enough on that from Inamura. He's feeling the pace, I think, hobbling away. Started a senior game of league football until Wednesdays, from the distance twice in a week. 7 added minutes have been played. It is 7 straight defeats for Consadole Sapporo in J1, and Albirex Niigata take a big stride towards safety, towards the comfort of mid-table after this vital victory. It's a 3rd straight 1-0 loss, though, for Consadole Sapporo, a recurring theme piling on the problems and the pressure for Misha Petrovic. His team beaten again. His team in danger of being cut adrift at the foot of the table, having lost for the 9th time in their last 10 league games now. Just the 1 goal in it. Kaita Taniguchi, scorer of it in spectacular style. 7 minutes into the second half, and still Albirex Niigata have never lost against Consadole in the top flight of Japanese football, and they've picked 4 points up against them for the second season in succession, winning here by 1-0 for the second season in succession. Hokkaido Consadole Sapporo 0, Albirex Niigata 1, the full-time score. Still no end in sight to their struggles in Sapporo then. Key players missing, confidence badly lacking, chances hard to come by. 7 straight defeat and a 4th in a row in which they failed to score. Looking up at the rest, pondering the challenges ahead, with a trip to title-chasing Kashima Antlers to come before the champions Vissel Kobe visit in their next home game. It's not likely to get any easier in the weeks ahead for Consadole. Albirex Niigata within a couple of points now of the top 10 after a 3rd away win of their season, a 4th away win of their season, I should say. And only a 2nd clean sheet on their travels this term. First time that they've shut out any opposition in the last dozen games in the top flight. They did so with a defensive display of discipline and diligence today. They played their part in keeping Consa quiet despite the stakes being so high in Sapporo for the home side. The pressure was weighing heavily on those in black and red, and Albirex Niigata took full advantage of that. They had their chances to score the second, which ultimately wasn't required, but it did ensure that it remained in the balance right the way to the whistle. 13 matches now in this fixture without defeat for Albirex Niigata. 10 meetings in the top flight between the clubs, and those from Niigata remain undefeated. Dominance further underlined today. These sides potentially heading in different directions, despite the fact that at times for long spells there wasn't much between them.
ご自身のドリブルから右足振り抜きました。あのシーン振り返っていただけますか。
そうですね、仕掛けに入った時に自分で決めようっていう気持ちで打ち切りました。
2試合連続ゴール、しかも中2日のアウェー連戦、この気持ちはいかがですか。
自分自身もそうですけど、チーム全体として勝利が欲しかったので、全員の気持ちがこもった勝利だと思います。
そしてシュートを振り抜いた先にはオレンジ色のサポーター集団が待ってくれていました。アウェーの地ですが、ものすごく多くの